and gentlemen, and welcome to this doctoral graduation of Stellenbosch University. This is not the start of the ceremony, it's the pre-ceremony housekeeping announcement. Molweni, manene nani manene kazi, kwanamkelekile kulo msitho wokutheswa izindanga zobugqirha kwi-University yase Stellenbosch. Due to COVID-19 regulations and our own protocols, this event by necessity has to be somewhat different from our regular ceremonies. Therefore, please take note of the following. All graduates and guests have been assigned unique seat numbers. Please do not change seats, as the seating record will be used in case contact tracing becomes necessary. Only the essential staff members required to constitute this ceremony will be present at this event. Thank you for understanding that we had to limit the number of guests you could invite. Rest assured that this hall is thoroughly cleaned before and after each ceremony. The wearing of a mask is mandatory for both graduates and guests for the full duration of the ceremony, including when graduates cross the stage. Please maintain a safe distance of at least 1.5 meters from others at all times. No food may be brought into or consumed in this hall. Only water is permitted inside the venue. Now to the ceremony itself, we will not be singing the national anthem as is our custom, but instead listen to an instrumental rendition of it directly after the procession has entered the hall. The presiding officer at this ceremony is the Chancellor, Justice Edwin Cameron. Kindly note that there is a printing error on today's program. We kindly ask that you follow the doctoral candidates' names on page 13 of the program. Our apologies for this inconvenience. When we get to the awarding of degrees, graduates will be called up to cross the stage, but in order to comply with COVID-19 regulations, there will be no handshaking by the presiding officer or holding by the registrar, Dr. Ronel Retief. Instead, please walk up to the presiding officer, change notes, and then turn around for your 15 seconds of fame, photographs, and acknowledgement by the audience. Members of the audience are also welcome to take photographs, but please switch off the sound and flash first. In fact, please keep your cell phone on silent for the duration of the ceremony. At the conclusion of the ceremony, once the procession has left, we respectfully request that you exit the hall and the building swiftly so that cleaning and preparation for the next ceremony may commence as soon as possible. Kindly note that you take along any waste items such as water bottles, tissues, etc. when you exit the venue and dispose of these safely in bins outside. Please do not congregate in the foyer for your own photos and selfies. You can exit the building and capture the moment outside with the beautiful Victoria Street as backdrop. Or if you wish, the official photographers have set up a designated area. Graduates and their family and friends are welcome to make use of this service. Also look out for the multi-shop mobile unit for purchasing Stellenbosch University branded items to remind you of the successful academic journey we are celebrating today. Enkosi kakhulu ngomonde wenu malunga nami nemiyelelo emininzi manene namanenekazi noko ke kuyingenelelo kuthi sonke. Ladies and gentlemen, in this time of COVID-19, we have hybrid graduation ceremonies. This is one of 11 small physical ceremonies for our doctoral graduates. All other degrees are being conferred during online faculty-based ceremonies that have been pre-recorded and scheduled for release on YouTube. Please check the university's homepage for information about when these go live. A piece of good news. This graduation ceremony can be followed via live streaming from anywhere in the world. In case you were not aware of this, you are welcome to share the following web address with family and friends: www.sun.ac.za/streaming. Please note that load shedding may interrupt internet connectivity and therefore also live streaming, but you will still be able to access a recording of the event as of tomorrow on YouTube via our streaming page. Load shedding will, however, not end the ceremony itself. We have a generator on standby if a power outage should occur. Please remain seated while we switch over to emergency power. You are welcome to share your graduation experiences on social media, and the hashtag to use is #SUGRAD. Just remember to put your phone on silent, please. Manene nani manenekazi sele kukufuthane ukuba siqale lo msitho. Siyaqala ukuba uphakame umchelele wezemfundo kwaye uhlale umile de kube emva kokuba siumamele umhobe wesizwe. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the academic procession and remain standing until we have listened to the national anthem. Thank you, Bayadanki and Nkosi Kakhulu.
Good afternoon, goeiemiddag, Molweni. We start our proceedings with an instrumental version of the national anthem. Ons begin met 'n instrumentale weergawe van ons nasionale lied. Ons sing nie saam nie vanweë die opsigtelike COVID-inperkings, but we start with that observance. In magte van die statuut van die universiteit verklaar ek dat hierdie kongregasie van die universiteit Stellenbosch behoorlik saamgestel is. By virtue of the powers vested in me by the statute of the university, I declare this congregation of the university duly constituted. Before we get on to the beautiful business of today, do you know what the beautiful business of today is? Very exciting and joyful. Let us pause to think what brought you here, what grief and hardship during the past 20 months of COVID, the losses people have suffered, the millions of people who've lost their jobs, the deaths that many families have experienced, let us just take a moment of personal reflection, just a few seconds, to situate ourselves here with both the loss but also the joy of being here, of each of us being conscious and alive and joyful to be here today. Just a few moments. Baie dankie dames en here. Thank you. Ek verwelkom u almal. I welcome you. It's a great joy to have you here. I'm going to be telling you several times in the next 40 minutes what a joy it is. And I want to introduce the people on the stage, because I used to go to many graduation ceremonies and not know who those people were. My name is Edwin Cameron. I'm a judge. My main job is as inspecting judge of prisons since I retired from the Constitutional Court 2 years ago. But my most joyful job is this job. So it's wonderful to be associated with Stellenbosch and to see people like you. So that's my most joyful job. Standing in for the Rector and Vice-Chancellor today is Professor Eugene Kluter. Is he on my linkerkant? Yeah. He's the Deputy Vice-Chancellor. The Registrar, who assists Professor de Villiers, who's our Rector, who can't be here today, is Dr. Renel Retief. En ons het 2 adjunct-registrateurs, mevrou Farah, ek sê mevrou, is u me Farah Fredericks en meneer Ashman Daniels aan my regterkant. En ons het die dekaan. Dis 'n baie belangrike okasie vir hom, so ek gaan bietjie poseer daar. Professor Jimmy Foreman, die dekaan van medies, en dis sy laaste gradeplegtigheid, want hy het baie diens gedoen. Ons is baie trots op wat hy verrig het in die mediese fakulteit. So let's give him a premature round of applause. Meneer De Beer, ons laat u nie uit nie. Meneer Samuel De Beer, u gaan later oor hom hoor. Hy gaan 'n spesiale toekenning, 'n kanselierstoekenning, 'n Special Chancellor's Award. So let us take a moment also to listen to a special welcome recorded by Professor Mawande Dlali. Thank you.
Molweni manene na manenekazi, siyanamkela kumsitho wothususidanga kule veki. Siyathemba ukuba olu suku luza kuba neenkumbulo ezintle kwabo baza kube bethweswa izidanga kwiintsapho zabo kunye nezihlobo ngokubanzi. Manene na manenekazi, sizama ngako konke isinako ukubiza amagama abantu ngendlela efanelekileyo. Ndiqinisekile uDean nesekela lakhe bebezama ngako konke okusemandleni ukuziqhelanisa noku, kodwa okuyinyani sinabo baza kube bethweswa izidanga, abasebenzi kunye neendwendwe ezivela kwindawo ngendawo ezahlukeneyo, ezinelwimi ezahlukeneyo, nezo zivela ngaphaya kwemida yaseMzantsi Afrika. Yiyo loo nto sicela ukuba nibe nenyameko, kuba singakufumanisa kungumcelimngeni ukubiza amanye amagama kunye neefani. Enkosi.
Sibulele Mfundisi. Thank you very much, Professor Dlali. And I want to return to your faculty, which is the Faculty of Health Sciences. It has taken enormous pride in its work, its internationally acclaimed and distinguished work over the past few years, and it has attained that distinction because of its leadership. It has produced many healthcare workers, many nurses, doctors, professionals, specialists and researchers, many at the leading edges, as I know all of you will be. And this has been under the leadership of Professor Jimmy Foreman. As I mentioned, he's retiring at the end of this year, which is just a few days away, and it's with great joy that we mark this final ceremony of his. I know that you are joyful to be here. It's a particular pleasure for us. Ons moes swoeg, ek sê ons, ek vat krediet vir wat die rector en sy span en Dr. Retief gedoen het. It's been tough getting to here. Last year, a decision was made by the executive to press through with highly attenuated, sterk afgeskaalde grade plechtighede, despite COVID. On the Sunday night before graduation week last December, President Ramaphosa imposed new lockdown regulations because of what was then the second wave. We thought we wouldn't be able to go ahead, but we could, because we scaled it down even more to stick within, is het nou 50, Dr. Retief? 150 wat hier mag wees. And why did we do that? It's because of you, because we wanted to recognize the prize winners like Mr. De Beer, but most important of all, the knowledge generation, the insight conceptualization, the human progress that your work as doctoral graduates represents. And we're very proud of what has happened at Stellenbosch over the past few years. We are awarding more doctorates this year, 7 more, 6 of 7. Nou, jy moet my help. As ek dit verkeerd kry, dis 6 of 7. Dink so. We're proud that we have actually increased our output of doctoral candidates, and we've increased our output of master's degrees as well. And it took some tough management decisions, some tough organization, which I'm proud to say the university's executive team and everyone implemented has got the capacity to do. Maar meer belangrik, it took tough work on your part. You had to finish your research, finish your write-up, and was it ever tough? It was easy. Everything was easy. Did anyone ever have a bit of tears? You did, often. You can see often. Yeah, so let us acknowledge both the grief and the hard work and the focus and determination that you went through, but let us also acknowledge the important role of supervisors, guiders, mentors. That's how knowledge transmission in human life occurs. So I'm going to ask all your supervisors to stand up so that we can give them a round of applause. And now, please, we come to the important part, which is your procession across the stage. And Professor Paul Mink, in his last group of precious, proud graduates, which is you, he's going to call you across. But I want to say something to you. This is your moment. You've worked for it. Your family has supported you. Julle geliefdes het dit moontlik gemaak om julle te wees. Julle studieleiers het dit moontlik gemaak. We are busy live streaming the proceedings. We are recording them as well. So you'll later see a video. So take your moment. Don't hurry. You've earned it. And yesterday, at both the ceremonies, I invited people to do a bit of a dance. And several people at both did. So the challenge is, are the medical doctoral graduates too straight-laced? Are they too, is it too uptight? Let's see. Dean Volmonk.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, I request you to acknowledge the following candidates who completed and graduated in March 2021 with a doctoral qualification. These candidates will cross the stage for ceremonial purposes only. Caroline Masangwa Pule, with dissertation, Deciphering the physiology of drug-tolerant and resistant Mycobacterium tuberculosis. The supervision was provided by Professor Sampson. Okay, she set the bar quite high for you. Yeah. Odelia van Streep, with dissertation, The Effect of Active Brain Breaks on In-School Physical Activity, Fundamental Movement Skills, and Executive Functioning in Grade 1 Children, with supervision by Dr. E.K. Africa. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer on the candidates whom I'll present to you the degree Doctor of Philosophy in the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. Eunice Abrams, with dissertation, Effect of an Obesogenic Diet on the Epigenetic Profile of Livers from Wistar Rats and Treatment with an asparlathin-rich rooibos extract. The supervision was provided by Professor Pfeiffer. Jasmine Aries, with dissertation, Molecular Characterization of Proteins Involved in Iron-Sulfur Cluster Assembly in Mycobacteria. Supervision provided by Dr. M. Williams.
Thank goodness that's Noah.
Sipokazi Dada, with dissertation Misuse of Codeine in South Africa, a multifaceted study of the nature and extent of the problem, with supervision by Professor Charles Parry. Melissa Erasmus, with dissertation, Investigating Aberrant DNA Methylation Patterns in LOXL2 as a Potential Predictor of Diabetes-Induced Cardiac Dysfunction, with supervision by Professor R. Johnson. Tracy Leanne Uester, with dissertation Identification of Novel DNA Methylation Signatures in the Development of Cardiovascular Disease. Supervision was provided by Professor R. Johnson.
Okay, I dedicate this to everyone who was not fortunate enough to make it through this journey as we do today, and to my two little ones that we brought up to my neighborhood to be completed. Thank you.
Elisna Marsdorp with dissertation combining different types of highly parallelized technology data sets for bioinformatic analysis in the context of biomarker discovery for tuberculosis disease and treatment response. The supervision was provided by Professor G. Tromp. Bayanika Manunu with dissertation, evaluation of the BCL2, PI3K, PARP1, and HSP90 pathways in breast, lung, and glial cell lines for identification of candidate genes as therapeutic targets for overcoming radioresistance. The supervision was provided by Professor John Akadugu. Christine Nell van Zyl with dissertation exploring the gut microbiome of children from Cape Town communities with supervision by Dr. M. Newton-Foote. Whoa! Wow. Radine Donovan Peterson with dissertation employing omics to investigate the macrophage response to infection with pathogenic and non-pathogenic mycobacteria. Supervision was provided by Dr. B. Baker. Frederica Scheffler with dissertation, The Impact of Cannabis and Methamphetamine Use on Clinical and Functional Aspects of Outcome in First Episode Schizophrenia Spectrum Disorders, a longitudinal study. The supervision was provided by Professor R. Emsley. Yolandi Sneeman with dissertation, Colistin resistance in gram-negative pathogens in the Western Cape, South Africa. Supervision was provided by Dr. M. Newton-Foote. Meneer die kanselier, ek versoek u om aan die kandidaate wie se name ook aan u voorgelê is, maar wat nie hier teenwoordig is nie, die onderskeie grade in hulle afwesigheid te verleen. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degrees on those candidates whose names have been presented to you, but who could not attend in their absence.
I hereby confer degrees on those whose names have been put before me, but who are unable to attend in absentia. Ek ken hiermee die grade, onderskeie grade toe, aan die wie se name aan my voorgelees, maar wat nie vandag teenwoordig gaan wees nie in absentia.
Meneer die kanselier, dames en here, dit is 'n uitstaande kenmerk van instellings wat op uitmuntende prestasie ingestel is dat verskillende vlakke en forme van erkenning aan uitmuntende presteerders gebied word. In die konteks van die Universiteit Stellenbosch sluit dit onder andere kanselierstoekennings in wat gefokus is op volgehoue uitnemendheid in navorsing en of leer en onderrig en of gemeenskapsinteraksie en of administrasie. Mr. Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, an outstanding feature of institutions that focus on excellent performance is that excellent achievers receive acknowledgement on different levels and in different ways. In the context of Stellenbosch University, this recognition includes the Chancellor's Awards, which focus on sustained excellence in research and/or learning and teaching and/or community interaction and/or administration. In the Responsibility Centre of the Registrar, the Chancellor's Award for 2021 is awarded to Mr. Samuel de Beer. I have pleasure in presenting the following motivation in respect of the recipient. Samuel de Beer started working as a faculty officer in the Office of the Dean of Engineering on 1 August 1991. He became head of bursaries and loans in 1995 and has been with academic records since 2000, now known as the Assessment, Academic Records and Graduations Office. For the past 21 years, Samuel has therefore been involved in issuing study records and duplicate graduation documentation, as well as module contents and a variety of statements to enrolled students and alumni of Stellenbosch University. These are critical documents that is normally required for job applications, promotion opportunities, and further study at other universities, nationally as well as internationally, as well as repatriation. Furthermore, Samuel also serves as a liaison between Stellenbosch University and certain professional bodies, where the acquisition of a specific qualification leads to registration with the relevant body. He's also involved in system development as needed in order to ensure service delivery to clients as seamlessly, effectively, and efficiently as possible. The above functions usually disappear into the background within the context of the large variety of administrative activities that are conducted within the Registrar's RC, but form an important part of the core activities of Stellenbosch University. The documentation in question is critical for alumni for a variety of purposes. When these functions run smoothly, everyone is satisfied, but any blockage leads, quite understandably, to great dissatisfaction and poses a great image risk for Stellenbosch University, as alumni can be disadvantaged by a lack of good and timely service delivery. Samuel experienced the transition from internal memos, phone calls through a switchboard and faxes to email, digital records and certificates, and soon to full digital certification. As such, he has played a leading role in the digital transformation within the Registrar's RC. Samuel lost the use of both his legs in 2006. Nevertheless, he maintains a record of consistent and loyal service, exemplifying excelling against the odds. Due to his inherent integrity, loyalty, sense of duty, excellent work skills and pride in his work, Samuel has been providing service to the advantage of Stellenbosch University and its alumni for many years. Samuel can attest to the compliments that satisfied clients send to him from time to time. The Registrar's RT strives to provide excellent service to all its clients, and Samuel is an embodiment of this endeavour. Mr. Chancellor, I request that you present the Chancellor's Award for Excellence to Mr. Samuel de Beer.
Baie dankie Dr. Retief en hartlik geluk meneer De Beer. En ons bedank u professor Volman vir u volgehoue leiding en diens en die luister wat u aan die medische fakulteit sowel as die universiteit verskaf het in die loopbaan hier. Ons het nou die einde bereik van ons seremonie, but I want to tell you something personal. Can I do that? Yes, please say yes. Thank you. I owe my life to medical science. And I was listening to your doctorates. I became infected with HIV a long time ago when I was a young man starting with my career. En ek het 12 jaar daarna vreeslik siek geword en dit was seker dat ek dood sou wees. Die lewensverwagting van iemand met HIV and AIDS at that time was about 36 to 36 months. And then I got onto antiretrovirals. 24 years and 1 month ago. And that's why I speak about it. That's why I feel such joy in being able to live productively, to live healthily. Without medical science, without research, without medical clinicians, and without activists, ACT UP in the United States, Treatment Action Campaign in South Africa, who forced the drug companies to reduce their prices, who forced President Mbeki's government in that nightmare period of AIDS denialism to make ARVs available. And today we have the world's largest publicly provided program. 6 million people like me owe our lives to people like you. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you for letting me say that. And I'm very proud of all of you today, partly for that reason. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I was sweet talking you a bit because we want you to become good alumni. We want you to join the alumnus body of Stellenbosch. Be proud Marties. There are Stellenbosch alumni everywhere. MartiesConnect.com will be a useful tool for you to interconnect with other Marties, to learn of what they're doing, to find out about job opportunities, not just in South Africa, but in the continent, elsewhere in the world. So we are really proud of you and we want you to stay connected. You also have a vote for the Convocation Committee and for the Convocation Representative on Council, which is very important. I hope that you will exercise that vote. And today, I think that all of us are very aware, and your few words as you came across, by the way, which made history at Stellenbosch. Dr. Retief, has there ever been, you see it was new what you did. Where was yes, wonderful. Congratulations to all of you. And the first candidate started it. I invited you to dance. I didn't invite you to make speeches. You made speeches. And all of you expressed gratitude, not just to your supervisors whom we've recognized, but to your loved ones and family. And I think who said her 2 children? It was you, ma'am. And I'm sure they did have a mother, but they understood how important it was to you to achieve your personhood as well as your motherhood as part of that personhood. Yes, lovely. So why don't you, if you want to get up, look at the camera at the back, because you will be able to thank your family and friends who are watching Let's get up and thank your loved ones and families and friends. Wave to them. So with that, we come to the end of the ceremony. I hope it was fun. Ek hoop dit was geestig en aangenaam vir u gewees. It's been a great joy for all of us to be part of this. I have only two powers as Chancellor. It's a ceremonial, a titulaire rol, soos hulle sê. My one power is to convene a congregation of the university for the purpose of delivering. The second power is to declare it closed. Hiermee, by magte aan my verleen in gevolge die statuut verklaar ek die kongregasie geslote. I declare this congregation as closed. I would ask you to stand and to remain standing while we leave the stage. Thank you so much.